C.J. Evans in the backfield. He's the true freshman. And right away, Oatsfall is going to keep it. Pitch it to Evans. Evans, a nice block outside. And Evans has room. C.J. Evans makes a guy miss. And you wanted college football. First play, touchdown, Governors. 75 yards. And Mike Golick Jr., how about that to kick off the 2020 season?
Matt, it feels like we've been preparing for this game for a month leading up to this, and we could have prepared for every situation.
College football is back, folks, and we are here to talk about it in today's video. It's been a long time since I've done a college football video. Last time I did one was back in June, but we are back here to talk college football because the very first Power 5 game has now happened, and you know, I want to talk about college football because I really enjoy the sport. So a lot happened since I did that top 25 ranking back in June, and we're going to talk about college football. We're going to talk about the first games, and there are 6 that I want to highlight and I'm going to discuss here. I'm going to have footage rolling in the background from the games and such, so you guys can enjoy the video. So we're going to start here with Austin Peay versus Central Arkansas. Central Arkansas won 24-17. They just looked a little bit better. Other than that very first play by Austin Peay, which was really good. Excellent design run with a nice sweep to the edge. Very good. Well executed, but other than that, both teams really didn't have much of an offense during the game. Central Arkansas won. They're actually now 1-1. And a fun fact, Central Arkansas, if the Big Ten doesn't play, Central Arkansas will have more wins than teams like Oregon, USC, Ohio State, and Penn State. Just think about that one right there. Just think of how dumb it's for the Big Ten not play. Obviously, I'm a big fan of Big Ten. I'm in Big Ten country. Why can't we play? I mean, Iowa State can play, but the Iowa Hawkeyes just 100 miles down the road can't play. I mean, it's not fair. Anyway, that game, well, was very interesting. That was the Week 0 game. I do want to talk about 4 games that are called on Week 1, and then I'll talk about the first Power 5 game, which was the first game of Week 2, which is the only one that's happened so far. Week 1, there was Marshall at Eastern Kentucky. Marshall looked really good. They won 59-0. They really controlled the game. They could have named the score, whatever it is they wanted to. There's some good stuff going out there. That new quarterback they have, I forget his name, but he's looking really good, so it'll be interesting to see what Marshall does this year. And Eastern Kentucky looked terrible. They have to travel to West Virginia this weekend to play, so probably going to be yet another blowout for Eastern Kentucky. Probably looking at, I would guess the Mountaineers will win in the 50 to 60 point range. And they have really good defensive line coming back, and their new starting quarterback, Jared Doege, who did start for them a few games at the end of last season, he looks really good. So Mountaineers could have a good season this year. We'll just have to wait and see. I'm not putting in the top 25 yet, but they could end up in there. Next up, we have the Army game. Middle Tennessee at Army. Army won 42-0. Again, Army looking really good. That triple option is very dangerous. But Middle Tennessee was supposed to be good this year, but didn't look that way in Week 1. Army looked really good. Spoiler warning, they will be in my top 25 when I do it coming up. And then Memphis playing Arkansas State. Memphis won 37-24. Memphis, despite the fact their star running back is out, he opted out. Memphis still looks really good this season, so don't be surprised if Memphis makes a lot of noise. They could sneak into a college football playoff for real. They look that good. Memphis is just one of those teams where they're just really good at like slowly building up. Like they may be not the flashiest team out there, but they can really build up, and yeah, they can really score on you. Then the final game for Week 1 I want to talk about, BYU at Navy. BYU wins 55-3. One thing that came out, I think it was about the time the game played, is that Navy only did no contact practices, which makes no sense because this is a contact sport, you know, where guys, you know, hit each other and such. And you can't really get prepared for a contact sport without contact. And BYU just demolished Navy. It wasn't even close. 55-3. Again, they could have named the score. Navy barely had any offense. I think their entire offense was something like 184 yards. It's really dismal. Pretty bad. So BYU and Army are meeting in a couple weeks. Really excited for that game because both teams, week 1, look really good. So, we're going to move on to the first week 2 game. And before I do that, I just want to mention that I'll be starting to do 3 videos a week here on this channel, minimum. If you guys want more, I can do that because I also want to do SEC previews. I actually will probably do season previews for each conference this coming week. Do my predictions for the 3 conferences that are still man enough to play football. That being Big 10, not Big 10, Big 12, ACC, SEC. And do some quick preview and predictions for those. Because really, I didn't feel like making videos when there was just all the turmoil going up. But maybe we're going to have a season, maybe we won't. But yeah, we're having a season now. So, you know, I want to make football videos because I love football. So, I'll be doing at least 3 videos a week, a top 25. That will come right after a recap of the week. And then a preview and predictions for the games of the week. So, please stay subscribed. I'd really like you guys to follow this channel. Tell me which teams you want me to cover because I do like to cover teams. And obviously, I'm going to cover this first Power 5 game, the UAB at Miami, at the U. Pretty exciting game that Miami starts off the Power 5 season. It was a Thursday night game. And yeah, we're going to talk about some things here, because there were some interesting things. Miami ended up winning 31-14. And I just had some notes here that I wrote about the game. And there's obviously... people had a lot of questions about Miami going into the season. It's no secret that their season last year was shaky at best. I mean, they lost 14-0 to Louisiana Tech in their bowl game. They were the only bowl team blown out that had 0 points on the board. They were the only team to not score a single point in their bowl game. Just completely embarrassing. So obviously, people want to know, is Miami's offense going to be better this year? Fortunately, the answer is yes. So I just had some notes about it. 2 playmakers that really stood out. Obviously, that's the one that everybody's paying attention to, which is Derek King. I had some notes about him here. He looked really good, particularly running the ball. He is a dynamic, dual-threat quarterback who can really, really hurt you with your legs. UAB brought a lot of pressure. They tried to pressure him. And he didn't have very many good throws, to be honest. Derek King, not a great passer in that game. Maybe he can get better throughout the season. But he didn't have too many great passes. He had a couple. But other than that, he was mostly really cutting them up with their legs. UAB's scheme was to bring pressure to the quarterback and then to have more defensive players downfield, which really left a large gap open for whenever he was able to find a seam. He would go for it. He could make some big yards. He had a nice touchdown play. It was, I think, a 12-yard run into the end zone. Pretty impressive. This guy can really run. He's going to be a massive improvement from what Miami has had, quarterback-wise, in quite a while. And then someone else who I think a lot of people are overlooking, but flashed really well this week, was Cameron Harris, running back. He looked really good as well. He also could play wide receiver, as we saw him make a couple catches there too. So he looked pretty good. And so Miami offensively, if you're wondering, are they going to be better? I think the answer inexplicably is yes. Those 2 players, particularly big playmakers. The Miami offensive line, they had a couple of issues because UAB was really good at bringing pressure to Derek King. So the offensive line kind of needs to improve that, but they were good enough to give him time to scramble out of the pocket, make some throws, or a run. So they were good enough, but they really need to get better because the teams in the ACC that are going to face this year will be better. And UAB did successfully pressure Derek King quite a bit during the game, so that is something a little bit concerning. That could be a good sign for UAB's season, but yeah. The other issue that I have is Miami's defensive line kind of looked to struggle. They really struggled against the run. UAB was able to run it a good bit, particularly during the first half. They kind of shut them down in the second half. They made some adjustments, but in the first half they really had some holes. And you can't be doing that when you play Clemson later in the year, or Notre Dame, or North Carolina. That's going to be an issue. But overall, this Miami team does look improved. So I liked what I saw out of Miami this weekend. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Have a great rest of your day. God bless you.
For the Hurricanes. 4th and 1 on a handoff, and Harris breaks it free across the 50, at the 40, the 30. He's going to go all the way to the end zone for a touchdown. 66 yards. Cameron Harris.
Basically a read by the quarterback. They get a good push, and you see De'Aaron King is just able to hold the defender up the field. That allows Cameron Harris just to get vertical and then just too much speed. A lot of times if you can split it on a short yardage like a 4th and 1 as the defense is selling out, there's no one left behind.